Hello, Zimbabwe. Welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And we need to take a look onto this report, which is from Newshawks. And it's a very sensitive report. Newshawks says the army fights back Mnangagwa. And it says when the Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa immobilized the military from running elections, as they illegally had done mainly since 2000, at the height militarization of politics in fear of Poramsango internal sabotage, and replaced it with Forever Associates Zimbabwe FAZ, a Central Intelligence CIO-controlled hybrid securocratic entity that eventually ran the polls. The big question subsequently became, what will the army do? What is it going? What was it going to fight or flight for the military? Mnangagwa's surprise appointment of Lieutenant General Anselm Namusanyate, his main internal political rival, Vice President retired General Constantino Chiwenga's closest military ally, as the new Zimbabwe National Army Setene commander, partly answers the question. This has set the stage for some renewed political brinkmanship between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. Sanyatwe, the last commander Mnangagwa would want to trust after he operationally spearheaded the betrayal and attack of the late former President Robert Mugabe during the November 2017 coup, replaced Lieutenant General David Sigauke, who retired recently. Sigauke, a controversial army commander on United States sanctions, replaced the late Lieutenant General Edzaichi Monyo in 2021. Before Sigauke came in, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga had fiercely fought over the proposed appointment of Lieutenant General Enjobe Rugeje as the ZNA commander. Chiwenga wanted Rugeje, his close ally, to take charge, but Mnangagwa refused. A compromise was reached to place Sigauke in charge for 2 years, so the coming in of Sanyatwe, who is unquestionably loyal to Chiwenga and can't be swayed to the incumbent side, signals a victory for the military over Mnangagwa's politics. Now going forward, the new question is, who will blink first, Mnangagwa or Chiwenga? So it's very important in Zimbabwe to take note of what is happening. Personally, I see things differently. I do not see the fight between President Emmerson Mnangagwa and VP Chiwenga. Remember, I shared a dream where a lot of people were expecting to see VP Chiwenga actually doing something different, but he was sticking together with Auxilia and Emerson. They were together. Up to a point where Chiwenga was being prepared to go back to the barracks after something had happened. Even against the constitution, they were willing to do so. So for me personally, this appointment, I see it as a way of trying to protect each other. Remember, Sanyatwe is only protected by the regime. If the regime is to be removed, Sanyatwe will have to live in Zimbabwe for good. If he leaves Zimbabwe, he's likely going to be put on trial by the ICC. So this is something which is different. He was a diplomat in Tanzania. That is how he survived. But outside politics, outside being a diplomat, without the diplomatic protection, without being a senior military officer, it's difficult for him to live in a new Zimbabwe. So I believe that these are people who have to work together. President Mnangagwa, and his comrades. They have to work together to preserve whatever they've been doing so that they remain in power for a very long time. I do not see his appointment there as a way of the military getting back at Mnangagwa now. These are one. This is a unit, a team working together for the good. This is how personally I view this, and I disagree with Newswalk on this one. So I do not know what you have to say to convince me otherwise. What I believe in is that Sigauke was not cooperating. Somehow, Sigauke was not cooperating. That is the reason why he was removed. Remember, Sanyatwe, he helped the regime twice. First, 2017. Second, 2018. So he's a very, very trusted person within the ranks and file. Instead of deploying the riot police, they deployed the military. And the kind of people they deployed onto the streets of Harare, these are not the soldiers who will come with shambox and beat you up and do all sorts of. These are people who want to shoot. This is a reactionary force which must only be released when there is a danger, when there is an armed conflict happening, when there's a report of people shooting other people, then that is when you can release the National Reactionary Force. NRIF is not a force to release onto protesters with nothing or with stones. That is so wrong. So if you take a look on what is happening in Zimbabwe, it's far from this, in my own view. I believe these comrades are working together. They have close relationships, close ties, same interests, and they have to protect those interests. Personally, this thing of saying General Chiwenga is preparing himself to take over in 2028 whatsoever, I don't see it. They know for sure that time is up. The younger generation is catching up with them. And they're in agreement that their only survival is to try and put their own. So I do not know. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I feel. These people are working together, propelling each other, as you can see right now. Yeah, what is happening? The question is, what influence does VP Chiwenga and the military have on the appointment of the new commander if they are not working together? Was President Mnangagwa forced to have this appointment? I doubt. So I don't know, guys, what you think, but I've told you what I think about this whole issue. But we continue to watch and see. In conclusion, according to Newswalks, this appointment was done by the military to spite or to get back at President Mnangagwa. Is that true? I do not know.